do some sketchy shit. Do-da, do-da, hope I get away with it. Oh, do-da, day.
Hello there, I'm Dan Hollifield. Welcome to Last Man Standing. No, I'm not Jenny Carson. I just wish I was. But with me tonight, we've got Paul, we've got Aunt Donna, and we've got Andrew, otherwise known as Cap. And we are doing good. I promise you there will probably not be any beauty explosions on this show, but
Now, don't make no promises I can't keep.
hey.
Hey, she caught us off guard with that. I mean, me, my brother, my sister-in-law, my mom, her boyfriend, and a couple of friends all in one big room. We all just looked at each other like, what's a scablution? We were all just bewildered, looking at each other like, did she just make up that word?
Shakespeare.
I was at, I think it was a family reunion, and one of the kids was riding around on a tricycle and rammed into one of my younger cousins' chair. He was napping in after an overdose of turkey and other home cooked stuff, and he wakes up and looks over at the kid and goes, "What are you on, narcotics?" I mean, he was sound asleep. The kid just bumped into the damn chair.
Wow, narcotics. What did they teach that one already?
That was the 70s. Good Lord. We got Thesis in the audience. Us as well. So yeah, we got 5 viewers, which is 5 more than we usually get until Uncle Carl wakes up. Oh, Donna, you are definitely going to have 911 on speed dial tomorrow when Uncle Carl watches Stupid O'Clock, because you were there, you witnessed it. I mean, you weren't on camera, but you heard the shenanigans.
I just hope I'm awake when he does it, because if not, he's SOL, isn't he?
Hey, teach one of the cats. They're quick.
Oh, no. They be dialing 911 all the time.
My food bowl is empty. 911, 911.
911, what is your problem? They won't feed
Meow,
me.
meow.
Knock, knock, knock. Just hope it's my nephew. Hi, Jesse. No, they've got fed. Trust me.
Oh
What's
Lord.
that one breed of cat that makes that really weird? Wow, 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 wow. You see them on social
Oh,
media all the time. What is that breed of cat?
I
it really
don't
kind of depends on if
know.
it's a talky cat, but Siamese talk like that.
Is it
Yeah.
Siamese? Breeds of Siamese? Oh my god.
If
You
you
like
get
they'll sit there and hold the cat, and the cats are sitting there going, wow, 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 wow. I sound like a husky or something. I'm like,
Oh, I dated a girl in college. She had an orange tabby, and I swear he would talk to her, and I
mm-hmm,
could understand what he was saying.
mm-hmm.
And I didn't date her that long. I mean, it's not like I had time to get used to it. Um, but she would unlock the door, go on in, and the cat would just be standing there going, "Mother, what kept you? My food bowl is empty." Uh, and damn thing sounded like it had a British accent. I swear. She was a linguistics student. Um,
The
I don't know.
Siamese that I had when I met Carl didn't like men. Tolerated my dad because she loved her grandma, who would call home from Florida just to talk to the damn cat and not me. But I was a secretary bookkeeper for a florist at the time, which meant during holidays, well, Christmas, I'd go in at 6 a.m. and get home at like 2 a.m. if I was lucky. She was fine as long as I left the light on because she was afraid of the dark. But she was fine when I'd work late. But if I was out on a date and came home late, she'd be sitting there and like, no. She could say no like nobody's business. No. I'd look at her like, Grandma never talked to me like that. I ain't taking it from you either.
And what time of night do you call this? Um,
You were out with a man.
oh, I can smell him on you. Um,
Yeah, if I was lucky that night.
hey Blade,
oh
And
Lord.
yet, when she met Carl, it was love at first sight. And then he fed her canned pears. And yeah.
pears like the fruit pear.
Mm-hmm. You know how you get a
You
canned pear and they'd have them slice the pear in half? She would eat a whole half of a pear.
Mm.
You
That's a
had
new
to,
one. I've never heard of a cat that would eat like pears or anything.
mm-hmm. That was her thing.
when we were on the farm, we had to gather together as a family in the old-fashioned manner and shuck corn and cut the ends off so that mom could slice it all down and can
Mm-hmm.
sweet corn. The dogs and the cats would fight over a corn cob like it was a tax refund. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
seriously, they would just about murder each other over a corn cob with a little bit of corn still left on it, or one of the ends that you'd cut off, and we'd be sitting there and just watching the cats and dogs and going about the everyday mindless business of preparing vegetables for mom to can for the winter. Um, that was that was when I found out that um, hornets are actually quite adept at zooming down like a dive bomber, catching a fly, flipping upside down and zooming towards the stratosphere with said fly. Um,
Did you say a hornet?
a
Like
hornet.
hornet?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're known for that. They turn bass ackwards
Yeah.
with that stinger out, and they come at you like a bullet.
No, they would catch flies in midair and take off with them.
hmm But then when you
Um,
were the target, you would see this little butt end of a hornet. If you caught it,
yeah.
and
Believe me.
that stinger would hit you, they would just bounce off of you and be gone.
There is no stinging insect on the face of the earth that hasn't made a good attempt at me, including saddleback caterpillars. Matter of fact, I've heard a whole horror story about that, and it was true to life. I was bush hogging a field, and suddenly it felt like I'd been shot. I slapped at the pane and looked down. There was a saddleback caterpillar on
Those things are evil.
the footstep of the tractor, and my arm swelled up as big as one of my legs.
Hmm.
And I had to finish mowing the rest of that damn field after that. We're
Oh,
talking
hi, baby.
we're talking at least 2 feet over my head of briars, and I'm sitting on a Ford tractor. And that field had not been bush hogged since probably just after World War II. So those briars were well established. And that caterpillar was really pissed that I invaded its territory. I survived, obviously. I've never been the same since, but I survived. Uh,
You have caterpillar
and
power now.
heck, no, I wish. I wish I could get some traction then.
Just go to the cat dealer and tell them your story about the caterpillars and be like, "Can you give me a discount because I had a traumatic experience with a saddleback caterpillar?"
No, that just gave me another traumatic experience with a bank.
I just had a vision of Dan at the Dead Men party after Hallowcon if he had caterpillar powers with all those legs.
I probably
almost
wouldn't
died
be
to-
any
I almost
less
died to a
popular with
hornet
the
attack.
ladies, but I doubt if I'd be any more.
I almost died to a hornet attack. I was 10, and I set off an M80 before they were made illegal, obviously. And I lit it and I threw it. Didn't care where it landed. I just wanted to hear the kaboom. Well, apparently it landed next to a tree with a hornet's nest in it.
Nice.
So that nice little shockwave rattled the entire nest, and all of a sudden I hear whole swarm is coming. I'm running, and then in my back I just felt bop, 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 bop. Like 10 of them hit me all at once. Within 10 seconds, I just flopped over. Like I was done. Luckily, my friends were there, and they threw a big jacket over me. And they started throwing M80s in different directions to get them to go in a different direction, because hornets respond to vibrations. So then the swarm scattered. They went off in different directions. They called 911. Yeah, I was this close. So I will swat at anything in my life.
Not a hornet.
I'm pretty sure in
Wasp.
some states you can still get M80s if you want one.
Oh yeah. Well, Georgia is iffy,
Yeah, I know.
but
Texas is more iffy.
I'll swat at anything than a hornet. The moment I see anything that looks like a hornet, nope, mm-mm, give me away from this. Nope.
Here in West Virginia, we have fireworks there.
Lindsay's actually allergic to
My
bee
sister-in-law is
stings and
too.
whatnot.
Yeah, she's got the EpiPens and everything. She's got like 4 of them in her purse.
I actually had to kill a bumblebee that somehow got back here in my office tonight.
Ooh.
Yeah, and I'm going. I'm sorry. I would attempt to put you out a window or out the door, but no, Lindsay's home.
Hmm.
My, you got to
Yeah,
die.
I had
Yeah.
a yellow jacket in my basement the other day. It was on my stationary bicycle, and it was on the bicycle while I was on the bicycle. But it was about 50 degrees down there, so he was moving real slow, so I was able to flick him off. But I went to my vape shop today, and they have a humidor. And I said, "Hey, do you have cigar boxes?" He said, "Yeah." Yeah, I go in there all the time, so he's nice to me, and he said I could have a couple, and I got a couple of. I can't even see it.
Thank
It,
you, wide green screen.
it's very difficult to show anything off nowadays. Now that StreamYard has adjusted their green screen to where you don't even need the curtain anymore.
hmm
Got this
Um,
nice little
all
wood.
you,
That's a nice one.
Oh
there
yeah,
you go.
Nica Libre.
I got this deeper.
Oh, now that
hmm
looks deluxe.
hmm
Oh, did you say Virginia or West Virginia?
West Virginia,
Whereabouts are you?
Huntington.
Ooh, so you're up there at Marshall.
Yes, Marshall
I
is
got
this right.
one of my good friends is Marshall alumni, so we were over there at the Buffalo
Oh, okay.
last year, and then I got family down there. You know where Dingus is?
No,
Do you know where that old
no.
NWNO Railroad is
It's
out
West
by?
Virginia. How big can it be?
I'm not from West Virginia, so I only moved here 22 in summer of
Okay.
20. Um,
Well, if you ever want to go hunting for it, look for Williamson at US 119 right there at the Kentucky West
Mhm.
Virginia border, and then go up a little bit. You'll see Lenore, Logan, that area. And if you look at the actual satellite image, nothing.
Not there.
Dingus is Coal Mountain territory, so it's about as rural as you can get out there. They don't even
I've
have
got
landline DSL or phone lines. You got to do
I've
everything
got
through
family in that
satellite.
area actually.
In Dingus?
No, right along the West Virginia Kentucky border. Um,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
I'm Starlink now.
Hey, my mom was a coal miner's daughter, and
Okay.
she when she was in her prime, she could sing like Loretta Lynn. I mean, seriously. I had friends over from high school one time. Mom's washing dishes in the kitchen, and they thought she had the radio on because she was singing. They thought this is
Nice.
this is professional work here. And I'm going, that's just mom. She does that. Wait till a Beatles song comes in. She can sing all four parts. Um, not at the same time.
Oh well.
Yeah.
Believe me, if she could harmonize with herself in four-part harmony, we'd be a hell of a lot richer than we are now. Daddy would never have had to farm. Um,
Some people
oh,
can do double tones and stuff, which is
hmm
really weird sounding, but
the people I admire are the ones that have studied the Australian didgeridoos, and they've got this circular breathing pattern. Same thing that people that play bagpipes have to learn
hmm
in order to keep the everything inflated while they're squeezing that damn cat and making it scream. Uh,
a lot of singing that requires
I,
circular breathing.
I I love bagpipes. I really do. Lindsay says she's gonna if I predecease her, she's going to hire somebody to come along with bagpipes and play Amazing Grace. I'm going. I'll probably get back up.
I don't know. I kind of like the way they sound
Oh, I
Yeah,
love
I
them.
love them.
I
in
love
moderation.
them.
In moderation.
It's just yeah. It's just I admire anybody that can do that because, quite frankly, when I was in the marching band, I had trouble breathing and playing a French horn and walking around. You know, three different things at one time. Um,
I played French horn.
oh, didn't know that.
I played
All
trumpet.
all percussion.
I played trumpet, and we needed different. They wanted a French horn player, and we didn't. And nobody wanted to do it. And I said, "Well, I'll try." And this was in junior high, so they had a French horn, and they let me use it. And I played for a good several months, and then I played a mellophone, which is like sort of like a marching French horn. It's like a big, thick trumpet. I liked playing. That was really nice. I really liked playing the mellophone. But I trumpet still. I wish I played. I don't play anymore, but I wish I did. But
Carl used to play a saxophone, and that's a technique that came in very handy as an adult, if you know what I mean.
Has he seen that guy that's recently become famous? The
In
one
other
that
words,
put the
Carl's still
the-
in control of his embouchure. If nothing else.
has he seen that guy that put the he stuck a traffic cone in a baritone saxophone, and he goes around and plays. And now he's got an actual album of it. And the first thing he put on an album was his own work, and then he covered Seven Nation Army by White Stripes.
Hmm.
Oh,
I haven't seen it.
it
That sounds
so
like it would
good,
be
too.
impressive.
Oh, it's
Um,
good. Look it up on YouTube. What's his name?
Now,
most sax music, I can't stand to listen to it. To be honest,
oh,
it's that honky sound. It's like
I dated a saxophone player in high school. It's one of the few ladies that would grant me the privilege of a date. Um, she was a very good kisser. Um, um,
Yeah, I bet she's good at French kissing from using that sax.
well, I was playing the French horn. I was pretty good myself.
You still are.
See if I can find this this saxophone guy. What's his name?
I am aware of the guy. Is it? Yeah, I believe it's a guy wearing a kilt, riding a unicycle, playing bagpipes with flamethrowers coming out.
Seeing him, that is so cool.
I'm just going.
we had a lot of bag
If you
players.
inhale, you're dead.
When I lived in New Orleans, there were quite a few bagpipe players.
And here it is.
Yeah.
The guy's name is @Traffic Cone Saxman.
And I like
His name
I like Jack Black, and he plays the saxoboom. That's,
Oh,
Dan,
That
did you
little
see
thing he has?
Thesis' comment?
Uh,
okay.
check out the metal,
check
the
that
metal
out.
band Like a Storm. They're from New Zealand, and
I've heard that
okay.
name before, Like a Storm. I've heard that name before, but I've never really got into them. Yeah,
This is why I value my friends so much. It's like everybody teaches me new stuff I've never heard of before.
Hmm.
And I'm going, this is why you became less than introverted.
I wonder if it'll let me type that.
I particularly like a sax when it's played like it's played in Bob Seger's Turn the Page.
There you go.
Thank you, Kep. I will have to look that up later.
Well, specifically, look up Seven Nation Army by him. It sounds awesome. And with that cone in his baritone, it basically extends the tube. He can play some serious throb your ears low tones with that thing.
Yes. Um, we had a guy in the marching band in high school. In high school, he was almost 8 feet tall. They wanted him for the basketball team, and he goes, "Uh, I'm in the band. That's good enough." And Richie's here,
Hey, Rich.
but I mean, this guy was huge, and they gave him the baritone sax to play in the marching band. He started off with the alto, um, because he was the only one strong enough to carry the damn thing.
I was just wondering if that was it.
Yeah, but he got really good at it. I mean, seriously. And he was,
Bet he got a lot of dates too.
I bet he did.
Hey, what they learn when they learn how to play the sax, that's a technique that can
That stays with you for a long time.
still with car. Never mind.
I wound
The
up.
reason, it's the reason we've been married 37 years.
Uh,
I got out.
because nobody else plays the sax.
It's not Carl's cooking.
Oh,
Duh.
well, if it was down to a cooking contest, I know between John and I who would get more dates.
Hmm.
I quit band because I couldn't stand playing marching music. I wanted to play just symphony, but
You would have loved being in my band class then, because I was a percussionist, so my primary focus was snares, bass, xylophone, and marimba. So naturally, I got into the able to. Well,
Oh,
funny be told,
they
I
just
had
has
the
a
same.
question.
You
Go
interrupt
right ahead.
me.
Yep, go right ahead.
Okay. I was like, so my band teacher, who I got introduced to in fifth grade, because fifth grade at elementary school is when you first got into band, and then you could decide to pursue it in middle and then into high school. Well, I had the same band teacher for fifth grade, sixth, seventh, and eighth, and then sixth, seventh, and eighth, we found out he's a metalhead. So he started recognizing. He put me on a regular drum set, and I was like, just slapping out some serious, riff patterns with it. Well, a couple of my friends, they're already learning guitar. One's learning bass. Two of them are learning guitar. And he says, and so we're this is right when Nirvana, Pearl Jam, Foo Fighters, Metallica, everybody's getting big names. Green Day, all those bands of that era. So in there, one day we're in there, and we're sitting there doing like STP. What's that song? Da, da, da. I think it's called. Is that Plush or Purple? Stone Temple Pilots. I forget what the song. Anyways, we're in there playing
I
that.
think it's Plush.
Yeah, because it's
I
got that real
think.
simple. It's got that real simple 3-string da da da
Yeah.
da 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 da. That song. Anyway, Mr. Melton was his name. He comes in. He says, "Y'all already learned that? I like y'all already. You're gonna be one of my best classes. So I'm gonna make a deal with you. If you guys can break the music down to show that you're learning the fundamentals of music, you guys can practice any and all that you want, so forth. The chorus room next door does not hear it, and it does not make it loud enough that it leaves the room, because usually the band room has that acoustic cube
Yes.
built around it.
Yes.
Hmm.
I do remember.
So we're in there eventually. Now we're getting into Green Day, Basket Case, and everything else. And Mr. Melton just be right there listening. He'd be in there in the office just like,
And
he knew
No,
we
I-
were hitting. He knew we were hitting it off.
no, Andrew.
And,
I like Bach and Beethoven and Tchaikovsky. I like the real classical music.
So by 8th grade, we're sitting there ripping out Metallica, Megadeth, all the really hardcore stuff. Mr. Melton goes to Principal Principal Stevens, who we find out is also a metalhead. And then Mr. Sheets, the vice principal, who is also a metalhead. And he says, look, we got to do something for these guys because they are seriously good. It's 5 of us. Last day of school, 8th grade, one of the coaches, Mr. Bowen, and his 2 brothers had a little small cover band called the Bowen Brothers. Well, funny be known, my 6th grade science teacher was also Mrs. Bowen, their sister. But anyway, last day of school, the Bowen Brothers bring in their entire stage, lights, fog machine, and we actually got to play a full 2-hour set in front of the entire school in the gym. My key part was I got to play Nirvana's Lithium on drums.
Nice.
Oh, that's against me. Like, he's going to mess it up somewhere. Watch. You know, there's that one riff where it's the crossover. I like you. I'm not gonna. That riff. And they're like, watch. He's going to mess it up. Mm-mm.
Nope.
Good old Andy is like just sitting there beating the mess out of these. But that was actually one of the biggest highlights of my school as a kid. Was we got to play an actual rock concert. And then when we played Nirvana Smells Like Teen Spirit, we had the gym actually looking like the music video. Except for the Anarchy logos on the shirts and the teenage cheerleaders and barely showing halter tops. But yeah, we had the fog going. We blacked out the gym and had the lights and everything. It was awesome.
Richie Thesis wants to know how your family's liking the journals that he made for you. And then he dropped.
Did I not hit send on that message?
I'm not, no, you may.
Well, no,
you may not
it's past couple weeks, I've been swirling like a mother.
Hey, you got reasons. I mean, seriously. As much as Lindsay's been worried about me for the last 2 days,
Wow.
I have been worried about you for several weeks. I mean, seriously.
So, normal side, the infected carotid gland, not the artery, the carotid gland. Apparently, there's carotid glands too. But it is better than it was Monday and Tuesday. It's smaller, it's more firm. So I think that the liquid's finally starting to drain out of the area, letting the swelling come down. It's not quite as far up towards my ear as it was on Tuesday. I am now on my 2.5 day of oral medication, and of course they stabbed me in the ass on Tuesday. So that is getting better. It's
Good.
a little sore when I yawn or if I'm taking an especially large bite of something. It's and I had a heating pad on it earlier to try to actually here's the heating pad in question.
Linda mentioned that. See, you had posted something about it on Facebook, I do believe.
Yeah.
And she was going, did you see that? And I'm going, no, but I rarely look at more than the first, 80 posts on Facebook on a daily basis. And after that, I'm going, okay, this is stuff from
That's enough.
2 weeks ago that I missed. And I shut it down. I do try and wish everybody a happy birthday that shows up on there because, although it's becoming a challenge for me to go, are they still with us? No, I mean, seriously, there are a lot of people that are quite young that are no longer with us, and they should be. And then there are other people that are making me look like a teenager who are still with us, and they shouldn't be. But that's because they're evil. Um,
Yeah.
Damn, you lighting road flares with that thing, Donna?
You
I
like
was about
that?
to say, and that thing is loud too. I could hear that.
When she first showed it off, I go, "Hey, Donna got a welder, third career."
Just about. It's a triple torch. By ordering a box of 20 from this particular brand, got to have a $30 torch for only $1.
If I did that, I'd have to buy a special license down at the courthouse.
Well, I'm Viking and I'm Sagittarius. We love the fire.
Ah,
Fire!
in this county, they're more worried about things that throw fire than they are things that throw lead. Um,
Have you seen that new robot that one company from Ohio is debuting now?
I
That
have.
robotic dog that has a flamethrower on
Oh
it.
yeah. That's funny. Under $10,000.
Like, barely. It's like $9,700,
Well,
and you
that's
get the controller. And
Hey, I've spent not much more than that on a car. Last
about
that
month,
thing is cool though. But there's like people already talking about it. Like, why do you need this for self-defense? Because we're America. We do weird stuff for self-defense.
I live out in the middle of nowhere. I need a guard dog that I can let outside safely. That the coyotes will go, nope.
Yeah, better leave that one alone. That ain't no regular dog.
That one don't smell right to me, Bob. Let's get out of here.
How about the new Boston Dynamics robot, humanoid robot?
I have, yes, I've seen that
I
one
saw
too.
that thing too. I was like, oh boy. When it started doing backflips, I was like,
This one doesn't do backflips.
Skynet.
It does, like,
Yeah, but I'm sitting here going, but why are they making human form robots? I mean,
humans. Everything's made for humans, so human form
but
robot
seriously,
better do things.
it's much easier to engineer a robot to do one particular job extraordinarily well, and then make sure the programming is such that if it has the right sensors, it's safe to walk around. I mean, you do not want to weld it. Hey, wait a minute. There's my ride.
Who is that? Who's got the siren outdoors? Oh,
that's me. That's the fun of living on the major north-south road of Danville.
Yeah.
But no, the humanoid robots are because they actually can do more once we make them better. Because the world's designed for us, and if you have a robot that's designed like us, it can fit into more areas and do more things. And it doesn't have to be a specialized, just an arm flailing around. It can go to different places. One robot can specialize in many different things.
Until we get into Terminator and iRobot days.
Actually, they do have cooking robots. Yes.
Ooh, how much?
Oh, expensive. They're it's like 1 or 2 arms that hang down from the ceiling, and it's got a special kitchen area, and you stock it with like fresh food, and it goes to each food area, and it can chop the food, and it cooks the food, and then clears away the mess.
There's some Japanese robots that exclusively run on these things, and I mean, it'll sit there and take out a 12-pound pork roast and just be like, you get perfectly cut slices all the way across.
I need one of those.
Well, you'll need also about $150,000 to do that.
I can take that alone on the house.
Look, she's racking her brain really quick now. Like,
no, she's going. Well, how much is Carl worth to me alive? Um,
I just need to take out a loan on the house.
I think
That's
depending
all.
on the version of the cooking robot you get, it's somewhere between 35 and 75,000, and it is trained by a professional chef. I don't know. This was a couple of years ago, so I don't even know if it's still in production or ever made it to actual production. But it was a rich people toy.
Carl, are you listening? Poor Carl had to fix his own supper tonight because I was taking a little nap.
Aw. Well, you remember what my dinner was?
chicken.
$8 whole chicken. I'm almost done with it too. This is all the meat that's
Mm-hmm.
left right here. Of course, you see
You
this
got
guy.
a you got a
He's like,
cat. There's not going to be anything left
you know
if
what's
you
funny is
look away from it for 30 seconds.
this guy loves chicken. The other one though, he can't stand chicken.
Yeah.
Piercy, he will not touch chicken. Now, if I come downstairs and I bring a pack of tuna, oh, it's literal war going on in here. These two will be clawing and stomping all over each other trying to get the first one.
That's
We-
like Spot.
We
He
got
doesn't
two that will not eat tuna fish.
Yeah,
Spot-
I get tuna out, and both of them are going nuts.
Spot barely likes fish. Some of his food, if it's fish flavored, he won't touch it. Chicken, turkey, oh yeah, it's going for it, but not fish.
Right, yeah.
We had one that deer were afraid of. I mean, she's gone now, rest her soul. But I mean, they'd walk up to the fence and she'd just go, Dad, got some barbecue sauce?
I had one cat that was my sister-in-law's. We called him Wiser. My brother named him. Now, at the time, my brother was pretty much a Budweiser fanatic. So, because he looked like the color of beer, his name was Wiser, like Budweiser. Wiser was a four-paw Happy Paws kitty. All four would get to go, and he would just stand on your back or your belly. If you just be laying on the couch or something, he'd jump up there, and then you get a four position Happy Paws. And I mean, they were turbo paws. They would sit there super fast.
We've got one. I mean, you pet him, the next thing you know, he's laying on his back and you're rubbing his belly, and the next thing you know, you're going, call 911, I need stitches.
Now, he won't claw you like that. He loves his belly to be rubbed.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this one does too. It's just he's really enthusiastic about it. Seriously.
I can't do that to Spot, but I've barely had him a year. I ain't having a year yet, but he will not. He cannot get on his back at all. He won't do it.
Mm-hmm. This guy likes to play too, though.
It's funny. They've all got their own little personalities.
Mm-hmm.
Have I ever
this is
told
the
you
one-
the story of why we have so many cats?
No.
Lindsay?
Cats cats.
That's a main reason, yes. This was right after we got rear-ended by the kid on his cell phone, and I had the broken collarbone in a sling there, trying desperately not to move, and I was going outside and sitting in the sun in the backyard. Didn't have the chain link fence. The dog we had was a 18-year-old poodle at the time, and just barely ever went outside without somebody walking him. And I'm sitting out there, and I've got this old laptop, and I've got it rigged up to where I could go and Bluetooth it to the Wi-Fi in the house. And I'm sitting out there cruising along on the internet, just having a good time looking through my chats and talking to people. And all of a sudden, there's a very long-haired orange cat rubbing against my leg. And I go, okay, you're cute, but I'm a Hollifield. I know if I have anything to do with you, I will be yours forever. So, you know, I don't know where you wandered up out of the woods from. The next day, there was a long hair and a short hair.
Well, you know, outside
I,
cats are like hobos. When they find a soft touch, they leave a sign so the rest of them will come in.
well, Lindsay saw this and she goes, "Oh, this is so cute." And I said, "Look, don't don't let them in the house. I know how I am. Don't let them in the house because they will be mine forever." Next day, I wake up in my lazy boy after an afternoon nap. I have both of them on me purring up a storm,
That's the best though.
and the next year we had 20 because they well, one of them had four kittens, and those four kittens had multiple kittens, and we wound up with 20 cats at one time.
Mm. Sounds like
And
paradise to me. I would love to have that.
oh, believe me, uh, there was a time where I thought, you know, if Lindsay was just on the ball with the cell phone camera, I could walk outside, sit in a chair, and I would be absolutely mobbed by cats.
Hmm.
And they would be purring so loud that it would probably come over through the screen door of the house 8 feet away. And I'm sitting there, I'm petting cats, I'm petting cats, I'm petting cats. And a hummingbird flies down and goes, "You're interesting. I like you." And just sits there and then flies off. And I'm going, God, if there was just a camera on my life, you,
So, so you're the one about with the song in the song that the birds magically appear.
everything does. I mean, seriously, everything does. Um, so far, the only things that run from me in panic are pheasants and quail because they taste good with gravy. Um,
Y'all
but
would like my, y'all would like my first ex-wife. She was like some kind of cat witch. She could go outside on the porch and say, "Here, kitty, 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 kitty," and every cat in the neighborhood would show up.
hey,
Oh, now is that a
uh,
cat witch or a cat whisperer?
Both, maybe.
Because that's kind of like me. Like people be like, "Oh, I've never gotten that cat to come to me." I'll just kneel down and be like, "Here, kitty." Just, it doesn't matter what cat it was. Come
Cats,
right to me.
cats would come to her from just everywhere,
Yeah.
and they were like her, my daughter, and my daughter's husband, and my ex mother-in-law. They all live together, and they have a cat rescue thing in North Carolina. So they have like I don't know how many cats they have. Many,
We
many,
have
many.
a new viewer,
Oh no, a new viewer.
Wings and Whiskers, who says
oh,
that their current cat is quite a character. She's a calico. Sounds like Tansy
My
Daisy.
cat's quite a character too. He's an asshole. Um, but then again, so am I. That's why we get along so well. I mean,
thesis, I will have you know, Disney now owns Fox Studios.
Mm-hmm.
part of Fox is stuff. Not all of it. Part of it.
Disney owns almost every damn thing.
And that means Dr. Frankenfurter is now a Disney princess.
Oh dear.
They keep acting the
Uh,
way they're gonna act, though. They're not gonna own that monorail much longer.
hey, I've
I
already
was right on
repossessed
that
that thing 3 times. Um, They
Face
keep
it.
asking me for more money.
Frank is not a princess. Frank is a queen.
Yes.
True.
Not an evil one at that. Although he
Are
tries.
you sure?
He tries. They try. They try very hard, but no.
Not evil, just wicked.
When I was a teenager, I went to Disney
That's a
with
good
a friend and
distinction.
his parents, and you ride the monorail in, and you might ride it back out to where your cars are. Well, coming back out, the monorail, the car that we were in, had no air circulation whatsoever, and there was no AC in it, and it was like a 90 or whatever degree day in southern sunny Florida, and
So, like a normal Tuesday.
the monorail stopped and was stuck on the rail with us trapped in that car for over an hour.
Ooh.
Oh, Lord.
It was misery. I really seriously thought, okay, we're all going to die now.
Now he's making excuses. Oh.
Oh, I got to drive that monorail once.
Oh, cool.
My mom used to be the director of sales and promotions for Delta Airlines, at which the time is when it was Delta and Disney. So we had this really big. She had this really big meeting that they actually did at the park.
You were driving that day.
No, we only got to drive it because we were invited.
Oh, Charlie stole the handle in the train. She won't stop going.
We were there before the park opened. So this is when they were doing all the pre-park opening operations, which means they brought out the steam train. They ran it around its loop a couple of times. They would bring out the monorails and run all the track. And well, that's what me, my brother, and my father got to do. Is we got to do the pre-operations tour. And so the train was empty. It was literally the operator, my father, my brother, and me on that train. And the guy just literally stood up and says, "Here, y'all want to try it?" We're like,
Yeah.
I'm 12. My brother goes, "No, I might crash." He says, "You literally cannot crash."
It's on
Challenge accepted.
It's on rails. What are you going to do? It's not like this show.
Have you ever? The guy literally explained it to us. It is not possible to put that monorail into a crisis situation. You can do whatever you want. You exceed certain limits, the train just automatically locks down. And it'll sit there and tell you right there on that screen. You get up 55 or above over so much time, train locks down. You let go of the handle, you got 10 seconds to grab it again, train locks down. You go past a certain segment at a certain speed, train locks down. That thing has like
challenge accepted.
And what really safeguards it is the central command station, because the train's always talking to them. If you sever that link, even train automatically locks down and it will not move again.
I tell you, it's not fun being trapped in one.
No, I've been there too. Yeah, the time I got on it
what happened to you, Paul. They lost the Wi-Fi and the train shut down.
Where we got shut down on it once was right outside of Epcot Center, where there's that big turn they have. So the whole train's like this the entire time, and we're sitting there like, okay, let's get a move on now. Okay.
Well, if you had air, I don't feel bad for you.
Apparently, a few of the cars actually didn't have air, but
I do hate Disney. They did steal one of my characters, one of my cartoon characters. And
I steal all their characters.
Well, no, I came up with a character, a bunny rabbit that was a magician's rabbit, and the name of my comic strip was Presto, and I published it in a couple of places online. And there was one place where all these independent artists and stuff would post their comic strips. And a year or two, about 2 years later, they came out with their own version of Presto, which was they switched. The only thing they really switched is they named the magician Presto and I don't remember what the rabbit's name was, but my rabbit's name was Presto. But it was very, of course, they drew theirs better. Mine was very ugly, but theirs was cute. But it was like, okay. But I couldn't. What could I do? I couldn't sue Disney. I wasn't in the position to do that. So
Hey,
Mhm.
if I'd had some money when the second Terminator movie came out, I could have sued because I had been writing a character that was a liquid metal android for about 30 years at that time.
Hmm.
And people that have read a couple of my books would know that character. But it's like, wow, somebody else thought of the same thing I thought of. That's great. Except I'm not getting paid for it. So, Mike Jimmy, hello.
What's up, Mike?
Good morning, lovely.
Hey, brother.
Oh, if it was Sunday, I'd say grab a cup of coffee and come on in, but you're probably just barely awake right now. Um,
Probably preparing young Mrs. Breakfast.
coffee does sound good though.
oh, yeah.
She's a little young for coffee.
Coffee always sounds good, though. For
For you folks, yes.
I'm not
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost 6 there in Amsterdam.
I've always liked the smell of coffee, but the taste is just not there. Like, you know how a lot of people can take a scent and correlate a taste to it?
Well, yeah.
Coffee, it just doesn't work for me.
I mean,
Unless it's literal syrup.
here's the weird secret: your taste is mostly your smell. Your olfactory system tastes more than your tongue does.
That's not really a secret. That's
yeah.
that's sixth grade biology from the 80s.
Oh, the '80s. He wasn't there.
Uh-oh.
The
Somebody's
80s.
being bad.
I almost remember those.
Claw on the bed.
80s.
Those were my formative years.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
God, I love the smell of coffee. Oh,
Late 70s and early to mid 80s. Very good years.
It is my father's fault that I detest coffee. 2 to 3 years old. Dad's like, Richie, you want some RC? RC cola is still my favorite cola to this day. But asking a 2 to 3 year old child, do you want pop? The answer is, hand it over, old man, and nobody gets stabbed. So he let me have this dark concoction that a 2 or 3 year old wouldn't be able to go, hey, there's no bubbles. This isn't caffeinated. This isn't pop. I just see dark liquid and take a really big gulp of scalding hot black coffee. Dad
suddenly you
didn't
found out
realize.
it was caffeinated.
Well, I didn't say not caffeinated. If I did say not caffeinated, I apologize. I
Yeah.
meant to say not carbonated. Yes. Burned my mouth real bad because 2 to 3 year olds not used to drinking scalding anything. Where Dad had been drinking scalding coffee since he was 10. So 20 years at that point in time. So to him, he'd grown up, or he'd built up the heat resistance to it.
I was
Scar
drinking coffee
tissue.
from about the time I was 3 because I had asthma, and coffee helps with asthma.
Mm-hmm.
But Rich, I have a similar story with iced tea. My grandmother, I was 4 years old. My grandmother had an iced tea, and it had a little bit of a foamy head on it. And it was ice and everything, and I thought it was Coke. And I asked her if I didn't like tea to begin with. I asked her if I could have a drink of her Coke, and she goes, "Sure." and hands me her tea. And take a big swig of it, and I almost choked to damn death. And but I can't drink tea. It makes me sick to my stomach. Rather choking to death on it or not, but I can't stand the taste of it. Can't stand the smell of it. Nothing.
Yeah, same with me and coffee. It's Misty gets mad because well, not so much anymore. But early in our marriage, one of her favorite drinks to get while she was out and about was we've got a local gas station chain in our area called Family Express, and they had, according to her, the best French vanilla cappuccino that you could buy for like $1.25. Um, and so she would tend to get them, when she was driving late and tired and stuff like that. And then she'd get home, and I'd lean in to start to kiss her, and I'm like, nope, you got to brush your teeth first.
Wow.
Me? If I
Well,
had,
no, here's the thing.
if I had to choose a significant other and coffee, I'm probably going to pick the coffee.
Coffee will actually make me lose my gorge, if you will. So, puking on my wife in the middle of a kiss does not sound like it's
Not
going to be
very
good for the relationship. I think telling her to brush her teeth would be a little bit better.
What movie did I see recently? Some guy did that, or girl was one of them. It's really gross.
Yeah, that was the point he was trying to illustrate so vividly.
Yeah.
This is why I like Richie as a writer.
I don't know how me and my brother are alive. This was a little bit of a controversial thing, and how we still remained with our parents is something else too. Me and my brother, between the ages of 1 and 3, Mom and Dad had to literally put mercury thermometers in a safe, because no matter where they hid them, we would find them. And then I would just sit there and go, ding, take one end off, and me and my brother would be sitting there going, oh, boom, 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 drinking the mercury. My parents, me and my brother had done this so many times, my parents would call poison control. Oh, hi, Mrs. Mikoski. Is it Andy and Jerry again?
That explains so much.
Have
now
you
that
ever
I think about it.
Not you. Again?
Can you put a light bulb in your mouth, Andrew? Will it light up? Because Uncle Fester did the same thing on an episode of The Addams Family.
I just realized when I was young, I drank mercury out of a thermometer as well. So I'm like, that could explain a lot.
We did it so many times. Like, Mom and Dad be like, we don't even know how you two idiots are alive, considering how many times you guys had to drink the 2-gallon size cup of charcoal.
Activated charcoal.
Over 20 times between the ages of 1 and 3. It was so bad. DFACs would always come to our house, and we had to make sure we had to show them exactly where this thermometer was, and how you two ninja monkey little shits would find a way to get 6-7 feet up in the air to find these damn thermometers, so the DFACs would not take you from us. And then poison control is always looking at us like, what the fuck are y'all doing?
DFACs, what? Department of Family Services?
Family and Children's Services, yes.
You know how every state calls it a little bit something different. Well, Georgia is DFACs.
Yeah, up here we call it CPS.
Yeah, so CPS, DFACs, whatever you want to call it, DFS. Every state's different. But yeah, it was the Child Protective Services. But
a Nazi by any other name, yes.
I've got a fun story to tell about CPS. So I'm the youngest, if you couldn't tell. Being the only surviving male child, I am the born instigator. So my middle sister and I, when we were younger, used to go at it tooth and claw. And it's funny because they're the one I'm closest to now. But anyways, so she was chasing me around downstairs, So downstairs we had a fireplace. Next to the fireplace there was an alcove that the wood bin sat, so that we would bring wood in from the side of the house to be there, so it would stay nice and dry. Toss it in the fire and have a nice fire inside the house without burning the house down. But anyways, I was on the wood pile trying to avoid her, and I had picked up a piece of wood from the wood pile to kind of fend her off and protect myself. She moved just enough for Richie to be able to scoop between her and the fireplace and GTFO. Back then, Richie was a skinny little shit and fast. So I made my dash. As I'm making my dash, I'm throwing the piece of wood behind me so that I can have my hands free and,
Maintain balance.
Not have something else weighing me down. Apparently, Brenda had turned and caught the piece of wood full in the eye.
Ooh.
6 months later, county cops show up with CPS to talk to my parents about that incident.
Wait, 6 months later?
6 months later. At the door, my father lit into them. Not that they showed up, that they showed up 6 months after the fact. He's like, you motherfuckers, my daughter could be dead if I was abusing her. What the hell took you so long to get here to investigate this? He wasn't pissed that they were investigating. He was pissed that it took so long for them to get there. And at first they're like, because, Dad started to raise his voice, get into things, and they're like, all right. And then the words that are coming out of his mouth, they're like, wait, what? You're pissed that we're here later than sooner. You're not pissed off that we're here, period. It's just the amount of time. All right. And, of course, at this point in time, Sheila and Brenda have me upstairs and tell me that the cops are there to arrest me because of when I hit Brenda with a piece of wood. I'm
parents,
5.
Yeah. My parents were lucky. There wasn't really a child protective services when I was young.
I won't even tell you about the time my dad had to run off the Jehovah's Witnesses, certain individual 9 times in one day.
Boy.
Persistent bugger, wasn't he?
Oh yeah, he was definitely persistent. I mean, if y'all want to hear this, I'll tell you. But it was kind of funny to me. But at the same time, I was like,
game.
Yeah.
Okay, so as you know, Jehovah's like to go around, knock on your door, be invasive, like, oh, we want you to read this. Please read this.
Never read that. It's
well,
y'all
know my dad.
I've read those.
Yeah. Well, as y'all know, my dad is a former combat Vietnam Marine, so don't bullshit him. He tells them, no, we're not interested. Go away. Well, this one individual did not receive this message. Second time, he comes back and knocks on the door. Dad's in there like, I said I'm not interested. Please leave us alone. Third time, it's a little bit louder. I said no. We'll skip over the next few times. By the 7th time, he had his Remington 870 sitting right by the door. Guy knocks on the door. He rips this door open and pulls the barrel out from behind the door frame. I said no. Guy turns around. Now we're getting into like 5, 6 p.m. hours. At this point, he's had enough. You hear one knock, and Dad's already standing there. He rips the door open. I said no. Guy turns around. Here comes time number 9. Dad actually turned his entire recliner around so that he could see out them windows on the front door. He sees the guy walk up. Before he even raises his hand, Dad rips the door open, right next to his head. You come here again, you will be meeting Mr. Jehovah. Am I fucking clear? Guy shit himself right there in the front yard and fell over.
I'll bet.
Better? I mean, seriously.
He froze right there with his hand in the air, but Dad saw it, so he shot off to the other side and just unloaded a 12-gauge Magnum round right next to him.
Eardrum busted.
As soon as that door went open, luckily,
And
though,
now I have to fix the damn porch.
not even that. Dad was smart about it. He loaded a blank. So because this is actually a residential neighborhood. This is the house I showed you, Dan. The first house in Peachtree City, not the golf course, but the other one. So this is a residential area. So he put a blank in there just so he could get the flash and the bang out of it to scare the piss out of this guy. Well, it turns out instead of scaring the piss out of him, he scared the shit out of him. It's like, oh my
As you
God.
do.
And I was right there. I wasn't even expecting that. He just ripped open the door in one hand, right next to him, and
With
then
the 12-gauge one-handed.
and it was 3-inch Magnum 12-gauge at that. So he's this big ass.
I know. My dad did that to me the first time he ever had me shoot the 16-gauge. He's like,
Well,
yeah, son. You see your uncle just killed that bird 100 yards away? You want to learn how to do that? Okay, here. Click.
Yeah, he did that to me too. But anyway, to make it even more embarrassing,
My shoulder still hurts.
the cops show up about 5 minutes later because somebody had called, said somebody had fired a weapon.
Discharge of a weapon. They had to show
Discharge of a weapon. So they came out. The guy's still there in the yard, frozen. To make matters worse, this guy had a nice set of hair on his head, except for this side had now been completely singed off by the flash from the blank coming out of that muzzle. So he was half-ass Fester on one side. The other side had this nice, business-looking hair. The cops roll up. They look at him like, because he's still alive. I mean, he's just sitting there like, cops come up to my dad.
Basically, he's blue screened.
Mr. Markowski, what's going on here? So he lays out the whole story. He says, this guy came to my house 9 times in one day. He's a Jehovah's Witness. I have told him multiple times. And he said, if he wants to meet his maker, you can let him come back a 10th time. Get him out of here, please. So they call an ambulance. They load him up. He would not move. He was frozen. He definitely was blue screened. He's just like mortal. Like his hand didn't even make it back down to the side of his body. Like he was about to knock. So his hand's kind of like just frozen like this. I don't know what that shotgun blast did to his head, but it rattled his cage to the point he was alive, but frozen in time. And now half of his head was missing its hair.
Well, I mean, if you're not used to arms fire, especially if you're not used to arms fire that close to you, it's
right here to him. So,
well, you said there was some singe.
And it was a blank Magnum 12-gauge, so that flash was just right there in his face.
Well, funny story I've got.
He went back to the witness hall and said, "I've just seen God." His name is Markowski.
We actually never saw that guy again. We saw the same group about a year or so later, but we never saw that guy again.
He converted to Satanism. Anyway,
it's much safer.
I knew how to shoot guns and stuff. When I was little, I had people that showed me how to shoot rifles. Mm-hmm. And then when I was a teenager, my father would get into football pools. He worked at the nuclear plants. And they would get into football pools. And he got in one football pool, and he won a 30-06. So he
I
said,
want in on that.
let's go out in the woods and shoot. I said, okay. And we had big fucking rounds that went in that thing. And we're shooting skins and big gallon water bottles and stuff. And I was having a blast. And the next day, his shoulder was in so much pain. He got rid of the gun. I was like, I want it. Give it to me.
Oh man,
It didn't hurt me at all.
You took my toys away.
Yeah, that
I
same
didn't know I was
870.
doing.
That
Yeah.
I
same
didn't know I was
870 was the
doing
first
him
weapon I ever
He's
fired.
like, he won't listen to me because I'm a stupid kid. I wasn't the one hurting the next day.
being an old farmer's daughter, of course, I was taught shotgun and rifle. When I was 19, I was engaged, and my fiance bought himself 30-06. And he and my oldest brother were out behind the house. They'd set up a target across the pasture and were shooting at it. And I'm like, let me take a shot. And my first fiance was old country Greek. And you know how they are about their women. No, you'll drop it on the ground. And I'm like, really?
Oh, I
really,
made that
dude?
mistake once.
And my brother says, no, she knows how to shoot it. Let her shoot it. So he reluctantly gives me the gun. I take aim, and just as I'm about to squeeze that trigger, he says something, and I look at him, and I bring that stock about that far away from my shoulder. Just as I squeeze the trigger.
Mm.
And, of course, it hits my shoulder. My whole arm goes numb. And I drop the gun. Like he was afraid I was going to.
He baited you into that one.
Oh, yeah. So I go back in the house to rubbing my arm, trying to get to come back to life. And when it does, I come back out and I said, I want another shot. And he's like, no. And Dale says, give her the gun. She can do it. So he reluctantly again gives me the gun. I start to take aim and I turn to him and I say, if you say anything before I pull this trigger, the next time I pull the trigger, it will be at you. So he kept his mouth shut. I sighted, I shot. I hit a bullseye.
Yay.
He hadn't hit a bullseye yet.
Oh.
Yeah. Handed him the gun and said, that's how you do it. And just walked off. My brother was laying on the ground laughing his ass off.
I believe the last time I successfully ran off a Jehovah's Witness from the house, I've done it twice using the same method. They just happened to walk up. I'm sitting on the front porch steps with a 1.5 bastard grip Toledo steel sword, sharpening it. And they come walking up, and they very politely said hello, and then turned around and walked off. They went next door.
It's a biddy.
I've done that twice. I mean, seriously.
I've never gotten a chance to run off a Jehovah's Witness, but where I sit, I can see if people come to the front door. And if I ever see one, and you always know them, right? White shirt, black pants,
string tie.
We did see some, but they never came to this house. But I have a plan. When I see them come to the door, I am going down to the front door, taking my clothes off as I go down.
Yeah.
And when they ring that doorbell or knock, I'm going to open it up in all my glory and go, are you here for the orgy? It's all planned, but I have never been able to. I've never had a chance.
Nobody's ever given you the excuse.
Oh, damn it! Yeah.
Although
well, next time Michaela shows up, you know what to do.
Black pants and white
an undress rehearsal.
Yeah.
Black and white shirt. That more describes the little Mormon kids that go door to door.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. They kind of copy each other,
Yeah.
but
We had a car park
My
across.
how they told you though.
We had a car park across the yard road, and I'm watching them, and four of them get out. Okay, Jehovah's Witness, this may be my chance, but they go around the corner, and I really would like to know what happened because 5 minutes had not gone by, and the four of them come running back to their car and get in and whoop, and I'm like, I wish I knew where they'd gone because I sure would like to know what happened.
Somebody probably
That's all
stole
good.
your idea and did it to them.
Hmm.
they ran into Andrew's daddy and left real quick.
I wish.
My mother-in-law converted to Jehovah's Witness because she'd already run through all the other churches in the area,
Oh, God.
and she she tells Carl and I, she says, I need to tell you this. I've become a Jehovah's Witness, and Carl looks at her and says, and if you come around on a Saturday, you'll get the same reception that every other Jehovah's Witness is going to get, knocking on my door. Ooh, okay. I wish she'd come. One of the few times I wanted my mother-in-law to come visit. When she found out we were learning German, she gave us two copies of the Book of Mormon in German. Like, oh, talk about coming in through the side door.
Yeah, well, we actually had Jehovah's Witnesses ring the door about 2 days ago. Luz took the door, and she came walking back on. You guys have Jehovah's Witnesses? No,
They're
you guys don't.
everywhere.
Oh, yeah, they're
They're everywhere. What are you talking about?
It's a worldwide conspiracy. No. Lindsay was watching a history program, and evidently they were one of the groups that the Nazis were dead set against, even more so than Jewish people. They hated Jehovah's Witnesses even more for some reason. I don't
No,
know.
they hated most non-Catholic or Protestant religions. Um, like unless you were classic, quote unquote, and white. I mean, let's be honest, because
Well,
anything
yeah.
with color, they hated as well. Um, look, you had to be two things: Christian, classic Christian, and white, Caucasian, like actual,
Mhm.
Aryan.
Well, what they claim to be
Basically
Aryan.
Swedish, but yeah.
And yet they interwove bits of the pagan Norse religion in with them, at least the upper class ones, not upper class ones, but the upper echelon did.
Yeah,
Well, they bought so much into Madame Blavatsky and whatever, even though I know that was a later time period, but the same
do that.
sort of theosophy thing, whatever it was before she came along. Yeah, it's really weird. And if you really study history, the the Aryans were from India.
As
I
well,
mean,
yeah.
Another bunch of brown people they didn't like. Um, that's one reason they were so upset at the Olympics when
Yeah. What was his
uh
name?
yeah, I'm trying to remember. Owens was his last
Yeah,
name?
Jesse
Jesse
Owens.
Owens.
Jesse Owens. Yeah, when he just outran
Everybody.
everybody on the damn field that wasn't in a car. Um, I mean, seriously, they were very, very disappointed. Uh, they should have had a rethink of their strategy about then, but
You
um,
think?
I mean, seriously, living in the South as I do,
Oh, she's
if you
got her
s-
daddy's ears.
Yeah, no, she's revealing all secrets from the house. All the weird things Susan and I do here. Draw and read. Especially reading is considered very weird for a lot of people. Yeah, yeah. We're weird people, aren't we? We're making you read those books as well. I know, we're awful. Worst part
hey,
about
You're a
that
stranger when you're a stranger.
and when I was her age, I was getting mom's copy of Paradise Lost off the shelf and going through it, and I go, Milton's not a good writer. Uh,
Ooh, big yawn.
oh,
That's like
Yeah.
I was speaking to a group of sixth graders about being a writer, and instead of bringing classical poetry in, because at that time I only had poetry books published, I went with modern day poets. I quoted a Cher song, and I forget the other two that I quoted, but the talk turned to Shakespeare, and I made the remark that when I was their age, I was reading Shakespeare, and the teacher's like, "You wouldn't have understood Shakespeare at their age." I'm like, "How?" And I'm like, "I understood it as that age person would." I all these nuances that adults throw into it were over my head, but when
yeah, really, all the made up shit that English teachers throw into it,
yeah,
Mhm.
kids actually overlook because it ain't there.
hmm
Um,
I mean,
it's
you
Just
Maybe
be,
it's
just
very
because you're not
subtle.
looking at the pretext doesn't mean you don't understand
Yeah.
the,
the context.
the material. Yeah,
yeah,
you might not understand the true context of what everything means with a 13-year-old and a 15-year-old. I think it was, wasn't it?
Yeah,
yeah,
Falling in love and committing suicide because they can't be together. You're not going to be able to read all the subtext into it, but you get the general thing of,
Yeah.
hey, families fighting. It causes issues, and
hmm
and nowadays, if you watch a soap opera, that's all it is.
yeah,
Yeah.
well, the example that I gave her was when Hamlet said, "Get thee to a nunnery." I thought he was telling her to become a nun. Turns out that nunnery didn't mean that back then. I find out as an adult, or at least that's what I was told. But you
I was listening to
at yeah, at any age you understand something with your viewpoint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was listening to
Um.
another author talk about Shakespeare yesterday, as a matter of fact, and she was saying that there's a YouTube channel or several YouTube channels probably that they read Shakespeare like it's supposed to be read, and what we don't pick up usually because what we learn in America in school and everything, and there are puns that we just don't know about that are in Shakespeare.
Uh
hmm
huh.
If you want to know the puns, listen to somebody reading it the way it's supposed to be read, and you will pick up the puns as an adult. And I'm like, okay, I got to do that because I never got the puns before, but I never read it after I was a kid. So
And yeah.
Speaking of Shakespeare, do any of y'all have the S22, S23, or S24 Ultra, or any of the
No.
Galaxy 22, 23, or 24 series?
Nope. Sorry.
Okay. There's an update that just came out for 23s and 22s, but it came with the 24 by default. You can now send text messages. You will write it, and then if you click on what's called the remix button, you have the Shakespeare mod, so you can type a text message in plain English. It will rewrite it as Shakespeare and then send it.
Oh, I would love that.
Oh, it is glory. I have sent a few text messages to some unsuspecting people, and they're like,
What
"What
the?
is this nonsense?" And I'm like, "You dare call Shakespeare nonsense?" They're like, "That's Shakespeare?" I said, "Yeah." I take a screenshot of it showing the remix where it's the original text versus how it rewrote it in Shakespearean theory. And they're like, "Okay, that's awesome." But they thought I was just talking a bunch of nonsense, like I'm some sort of like Robin Hood or something like first. I'm like, no, this is Shakespeare. This is how people used to read literature in that era or that
Mhm.
that ideology. This is how they used to speak. And they're like, oh, I got to look into this a lot more now.
And the moral of the
So-
story is don't send literature stuff to your literature savvy friends.
So where is the remix in the S23?
Okay, if you're writing a text, I'll pull up my mom just to show you. You type out something and like say, how are you doing? Whatever. Just write something you would write, and then you hit this little button right here. It's the call out bubble with the plus on it. If you have the update on UI 6.1, it should say remix, and then it'll be Shakespeare will be one of the remix modes, and it'll rewrite everything you said according to how literature was done then. Like here,
Yeah, mine must not have received that update yet.
Yo, sweetie.
She's been pulling off her sock.
Mhm.
Try keeping a child dressed. I mean,
Mhm.
seriously.
No. She's starting to help pulling on her pants whenever we change her. So she'll actually grab the pants and try pull it up. Usually when you're only one leg in, so the other one is, dangling somewhere, and you're going, darn it, girl.
Oh yes. My mom never could keep anything over my feet. She even bought those supposedly childproof things that went on your shoes to keep the. Nope.
Honestly, we don't really care. It's normal for her around this
Here.
time to start to be interested.
I've got it turned down so that the brightness won't flash my camera. Look how it rewrote the whole thing in Shakespeare.
Too small.
Yeah. There you go.
My belly rumbles like a tempestuous sea, my friend. Let us partake in a hearty repast, a libation to quench our thirst.
Cool.
This is what I wrote. This is what I wrote in basic English.
Oh, Lord.
That is cool.
Yeah, it is cool.
That's awesome.
But there's other modes too. There's like the chill mode. Dude, I'm famished. Let's grab some grub and get a refreshment.
Hey, I've got a friend. If he really wanted to, he could sit there and just say the word "dude" over and over again in different inflections and carry on an entire conversation that is perfectly comprehensible.
Yeah,
Dude.
dude.
Yeah,
Dude, you
seriously.
gotta tell.
Dude.
Dude.
Dude, where's my car?
I remember when that happened, and the next ad that came out was, "Dude, you gotta sell."
Well,
'Cause
remember the kid
the
from,
guy got locked up.
remember the kid from Dell? Dude, you gotta tell.
I got a tattoo. What's it say? Dude, I got one too. What's it say? Sweet.
Y'all remember the Budweiser was
Oh God! With
hate
what
Yeah,
filters?
yes.
I will remember that. Yes.
Have you seen
yeah.
the reboot of that playing as older guys now in today's world?
Why
No.
not? No.
I've never looked for it. I didn't enjoy it much back in the day.
I will put it in stupid o'clock. It is
Okay.
hilarious.
But the funny thing is, the frogs were there, Budweiser. That was actually, they stole that from an older skit from somewhere else. I can't remember where, but it was, somebody showed it. It was something from a lot longer back than the frogs even. And they stole it. Never gave anybody credit. I think it was a Jim Henson thing.
It might have been. I mean,
Probably.
it sounds like something a Muppet would do.
Sounds like something that might be on Sesame Street. Yeah.
Although I don't think it would say
Oh, no.
Budweiser on
But
Sesame Street.
yeah, the Muppets did not. They started on Saturday Night Live.
No, the Muppets were around long before that.
Well, yeah, but their big debut was Saturday Night Live on the very first episode. They were the music that very first night.
I remember. Actually, in the third year when they stopped having Muppets on Saturday Night Live, it suddenly became a whole lot more. Instead of aimed at college students, it became aimed at college students' parents. And I particularly, well, I mean, they still had funny skits. Some of them were really entertaining, but once they dropped the Muppets, I'm going, sorry, I'm going to watch Second City, or Fridays, because we had all three on PBS down here. So well, I mean, Saturday Night Live was broadcast, but Second City and Fridays was on PBS, and you got to see a lot of the same folks much earlier in their careers.
Yeah. I liked it when they had Belushi and Aykroyd and Steve Martin, and
Mm-hmm.
it was actually funny back then. It was actually funny. I did see somebody showed a funny skit that was on Saturday Night Live. It was actually funny. It made me laugh. It was from 2013 or so, I think so. And they showed it. It was very pertinent to today. This girl's getting dropped off by her father. It looks like she's getting dropped off for school, for college. And he's asking her if she needs any money, and she needs this or needs that. She says, "No, everything's fine. I got this." And then she gets out of the car, and this pickup truck comes blazing up, and it's got a bunch of guys in it, and it's got a big sign on the side that says ISIS, and they're shooting their guns in the air. She's going to join ISIS.
Oh, I gotta look for this. That'd be funny.
It was hilarious. But yeah, that was the Saturday Night Live. I think it was either 2013 or 2016. But they were on the nose.
Go ahead. Y'all remember a few years ago the guy had auctioned his truck off, and they took it over there to Syria or whatever?
Oh no, they took a lot of.
They were hate bombing the mess out of this Texas plumber because they thought he sold his truck directly to terrorists. It turns out he auctioned it, and they didn't take his info, including his phone number, off of the truck. And so now somebody's over in Afghanistan or whatever taking a video of it, and they're like, "What phone number is that?" I feel sorry for that man.
Oh.
Like they strapped they put one of those big ZSU-23, Z-23 guns on the back of it, and it's just over there. And everybody's like,
I remember it.
yeah, that one was. I was like, oh, I feel sorry for that man.
Uh-huh.
It's like every news agency was grabbing him to get his story out. Like, stop threatening this man. This is what happened. Here's the record of it. He literally gave his truck up to an auction lot, and whatever happens to it after that is not his concern. Yeah,
Thing
well,
is, today's news.
America made it his concern.
In today's news, they put it up that he did it on purpose and da 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 da.
Oh yeah.
Well, it was the one agency, and I think he sued them because they said, "Why did you do this? Why did you give your truck to terrorists?" And he's like, "I didn't." So everybody else started picking it up, like, "Yo, y'all wrong for that."
I can see Rachel Maddow talking about it right now.
I just wish more people had taken Gallagher seriously when he, as a pun, invented ICBMWs, Intercontinental Ballistic Missile Winnebagos. there would be a ton of people living in the desert somewhere shitting their pants over the fact that there's a bunch of rednecks out there that each of them have a nuclear warhead, and you better not piss them off.
Gallagher was cool.
Oh, I loved his stuff. I really did. I always hated it when his brother and he had falling out over his brother stealing his act, pretending to be him. That just sounded so bizarre.
The last time I saw him, he was in his 70s and he was trying to do some stand up. It was really sad. He didn't have it anymore.
Okay, I'm in my late 60s and I don't have it anymore. So
you got
Depends
something.
on what you're talking about, honey.
Yeah. No, I mean, but Gallagher, a stand-up comedian. I guess you expect him. You expect a certain thing, but he just didn't have that thing anymore. But I did like his skits; they were very funny.
Mm-hmm.
He always wanted to make an S car. So when you got in the S car and you were driving down the streets, people could go, "Look at that S car go!" I didn't make it up. Gallagher did.
Donna's up there like, what?
That hurt.
I remember when he strapped a French car door on a tricycle and was pedaling around. It was lay door and not lay car.
Yeah, it was his S car.
Oh Lord!
Do y'all remember when was it Citroen or Renault? They flung one of their cars off a French Navy aircraft carrier for one of their advertisements.
Vaguely.
I think it was Citroen, because the car got launched off the carrier, and then kind of putted around under the water, saying, "You can't beat a Citroen." That actually happened. Citroen actually donated the car to the French Navy for this thing. There's behind the scenes footage of this on YouTube. They literally flung a brand new car off the deck of one of their French carriers. And the whole crew of the carriers back there watching this whole thing too.
I do remember when the guys from Top Gear made a rocket out of a Reliant Robin 3-wheeled car.
That episode was, yeah.
It turns out strapping wings to it didn't make it any damn more stable. It actually flew worse than it drove.
That was pretty funny. What was the other one they did with the boat?
Oh, I remember one where they each tried to build their own boat out of
there were
something
2
else.
episodes on that.
What was the one though? Oh, I forgot what they did, but it was so hilarious.
One of them put masts and sails on it and then tried to drive it under a bridge without dropping the mast down.
I remember that one.
Yeah, that was James.
And then I think it was Jeremy that strapped like 500 horsepower outboard engines to a tailgate of a truck,
2 of them.
and then was mystified as to why the damn thing was sinking because the back end of it weighed more than the rest of the truck combined.
Oh,
Oh,
Oh Lord.
there is
And
somebody here, Dan. You'll like this one. There's somebody here on Lake Lanier now that has a what's that company? A Nortec 73-foot cigarette boat here on Lake Lanier, and he will rip across that freaking lake. He'll
he
come
better
out when
slow
the
it down. He better slow it down when he gets near the bridges because they will arrest his ass.
no Lake Lanier does not have wake zones on their bridges,
Oh, good Lord.
but
I
he
was
comes
not
out.
aware.
He comes out when there's nobody else out, so he'll come out at like 7, 8 in the morning. And this is what's pissing off a lot of the marinas with all their houseboats, because this thing sounds like a top fuel dragster doing 60 knots across Lake Lanier, but the water is glass, so he is literally just. And then about 10 minutes later, he'll reach the end of the lake and turn back around and go back towards the western end of the lake.
You know, if I was able to afford one of the canal boats, the videos that I watch, that would be one of the few places I'd be able to cruise that damn thing around. But I would get real bored with it after about 6 or 8 months when I've already seen every square inch of the damn lake at 12 miles an hour.
Well, he's slated he's going to be in the poker run this year, too.
Ooh, well.
And that boat is beautiful based on the video I
saw. Put a little girl to bed.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah. Cranky baby. BRB.
Yep. That boat is phenomenal.
13 minutes.
Yeah. And I didn't have any idea we were actually going to be able to top the stupidity of Stupid O'Clock tonight, but
you forget who you have on the show.
We've actually been much more entertaining, I would say. I think Aunt Donna brings a little bit of class.
Yeah, right.
Didn't say which class.
hey, just because it's recess or detention.
Look at this guy.
Oh, begging for more chicken.
No, now we're in a stare down because he knows the chicken is gone. He's like, "You gonna get me some more?
Go buy more chicken." Oh.
But this is his favorite spot. He's literally sitting on my server right now, and he just sits here.
It's warm.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Oh, good grief.
The things this cat will let me do too is beyond comprehension.
I am so not touching that line. Not even on Fridays.
You ever seen a Chinese Maine Coon?
Comes in billions.
Ooh, me Chinese Maine Coon. You threaten my home, and I turn you into Chinese Ginzo saucy. The things he lets me, he's just sitting here purring like, I don't care. The things he lets
I'm
me
getting
do.
attention, yeah.
Yeah, really.
It's okay, human. I trust you.
Oh, Calvin is now over 2 years old, so he's officially an adult. He's kind of calming down. Little him only won't be a year until August, so he still does
stupid shit.
Yeah. And he did something the other day and then just raced around, and Calvin's sitting there going, "What the?" And he looks up at me, and I says, "Yeah, and we got another year and a half of that, bud." And I swear his face went, "Son of a bitch." But yeah, now you know how we felt about you when you did that.
Close, but no cigar.
Oh yeah, these two will get zoomies, and oh my god.
Oh dear. Um,
Well, you'll like this, Cap. We have a very large house. The first floor you can go totally around in a circle, or on the there's a two-step landing, and then a door that you could go through from the foyer to the room we use as a dining room. And of course, that's always open. There's the front stairs, and there's the servant stairs back in the back. So we've got cats with 5 cats. And 4 of them. Well, okay, not counting Calvin anymore. He is an adult, but he still zooms. But 3 kittens getting the zoomies up and down both stairs at the same time, as well as around the house. Yeah, it's not safe.
Yeah, we had the house I talked to y'all about with the golf course.
Hmm.
We had that set up too. You could go from the dining room to the living room to the front office to the kitchen, and it was one big giant loop. And then there was also a hallway that split all this into pieces, into 3 different paths you could go. Well, me and Billy Bob, remember Billy Bob? He would fetch the golf balls. A smart kitty. Me and Billy Bob would play tag. I'd look and peek around the corner. Billy Bob. He'd look up. He'd see me peeking around the corner, and I'd jerk my head back. I'd take off running. Oh boy, he would be hot footing right on my rear trying to catch me. And if he caught up to me, he would jump in the air. I got you. Or I would turn around and then do it to him, and then I'd be like, I got you. And we did this for hours, and Mom and Dad were like, what have we done? What have we done?
we don't know which one we want to grow up first, Andy or the damn cat.
Well, I
Oh yeah, Dad said that literally one day. Which one's gonna be the adult first? Andy or Billy Bob? And Mom looked at him like, just shut up.
It's me, the cat. He's your son. Oh,
last year I was having some shoulder problem. I couldn't lift my arm or anything, and my PA's like, "Well, do you want a shot in the arm or you want physical therapy?" And I said, "Let's try the therapy first." And I go in and I'm talking to the physical therapist, and she says, "Well, for one thing, it's your posture. You've got to, your head's not up." Okay, and she showed me a simple little neck exercise, and just that same day, I could raise my arm from here up to here, just doing this one exercise 10 times. And she says, you can't be looking at your phone all the time. You've got to have your head up. You've got to stand up and straight. And I'm like, well, it's not my phone. And she's, well, what is it then? It's stairs and cats. Because you got to be looking down.
Uh-huh. Especially if you're wearing bifocals.
Yeah.
You have to tilt your head down to look at the stairs through the close-up part of your bifocals so that you don't fall down the stairs
Yeah.
as you descend them. And another trick that comes in handy is don't wear long cowboy coats when you're trying to go downstairs, and don't wear spurs on your boots when you're trying to go downstairs. I learned both of those lessons the hard way, believe me.
Hi, Mac.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Well-
hi, Mac.
Hi, Mac.
I'd evidently gotten into the habit of having my head down, and she says, well, when you're not around the stairs and the cats, try to stand up straight. And
When you're not around the cats, when does that happen?
well, the cats on the stairs is the problem. The cats on the you know the first or second floor, that's okay. For some reason, they stay out of your way when you're on a straight floor. It's the stairs that they seem to. Well, I gotta get past it. Oh no, I want to go upstairs. You could. Okay.
Oh, you could have pranked her so bad. You could have. Just go, hey, can I just start looking at my husband? He's 8 feet tall. Um,
He's only 6'2".
I know. But he looks 8 feet tall to me because I'm 5'11". Um, I mean,
I'm
seriously.
5'6".
You're
I'm
fun
right
size.
under Dan. I'm at 5'10". So
Oh,
now, my buddy Walter, his wife is 6'4". Remember I told
Yes.
you about her with the Bugle Pit? 6'4" Marine military police.
Still short, huh, Mike Jimmy?
Oh Lord.
Mike's not short.
Yeah, I would be short
No, I was
compared to
talking
Mike Jimmy.
about. I was talking about his 6'4". What are you, 7'5"?
Well, I'm 6'8".
Ooh.
Yeah. I was looking forward to climbing that, but things happened and he didn't get to
That's all
Hallowcon.
I'm thinking.
It really, you got married, you missed out. Seriously. Although
Yeah, Walter's 6'5".
I have
and his wife
permission
is
from
6'4", so-
Lindsay.
Lindsay did give out hunting licenses at one time.
As far as I know, just a Don and me, but yeah.
I I do believe that she also included one other lady, but you know, I'm not. Hey, I started to say her name, but I'm not going to.
No, that's okay.
She might actually watch this show occasionally, so you know. Better safe than sorry, Daniel.
Yeah, no. Luce is
I
like a
hear-
medieval landlord. You are not hunting these grounds.
I hear happy squeals over there at Mike's on Mike's end. Somebody's over there having fun now.
Oh no, that's probably Aurora getting fed. That's the happy squeal.
As I'm saying, happy squeals. I hear happy
Yeah, no.
squeals going on
She's
over
in her
there.
bed and she's just being a happy baby. And Luce is in the bedroom as well. And she was awake already. Otherwise, I would have taken her out again. But no, she's just being a happy baby. Probably playing around with a little toy dragon that we have in there because it makes a
she got a
noise.
toy
And she
dragon?
loves
Sweet.
Oh yeah, he's raising her right.
that.
Hey,
Of course, she's going to be a redheaded Sagittarius. She's Sagittarius. Boy, is he going to be in trouble.
no,
Yeah,
you
no,
said that
I
wrong.
know.
The boys in school are going to be in trouble. That's what
Well, that too.
Mike
I-
Jimmy's going to
I-
have to get a special permit to buy a shotgun.
But I
Technically,
speak
could.
from
It would take a long
experience.
time, but technically, I could.
See, that's where I'm at right now because my daughter is 14, and even though she's with a surrogate mother, I do have permission to intervene.
Yeah, and I speak from experience as a redheaded Sagittarian.
My face is.
Oh God, we're in the last minute, folks. I hate to say it, I really do. This has been
Yeah.
a lot of fun, and we got the rain room tomorrow night, so we can continue the fun, and then
And get even better.
later on Saturday, not the same time frame, but later on Saturday, stupid o'clock will happen again, and if I'm sober enough, last man standing. I'm working on that.
Tolerance
Not
level.
not staying sober, getting drunk enough to be able to do the damn show. Uh, oh Lord, thank God my mother does not have YouTube. Uh, I, I would get whooped, and I'd have to stand there and take it. I mean, seriously, I do not want to intimidate my mother. No, um, that would be worse. That would be worse than invading Poland or South Vietnam. Um, the repercussions would be extreme. Um, and yes, I did say repercussions. Um, because yes, I am an inveterate smartass, and jokes come to mind before I ever even have time to finish formulating one thought or the next. Um, all right. Thank you very much, all of you. I can't stick around after the show tonight. I really need to go to bed because Lindsay has been worried about my health over the last couple of days. So I've got to go and behave as much as that is
Your health is
foreign
important.
to my nature. Um, but anybody got any links they want to shout out or anything in the last couple of
Actually, I
minutes?
do.
I mean,
Well,
Got mine went
or
missing.
the What's Up reboot is in Stupid O'Clock, and Dan, I will send you the saxophone guy.
thank you.
Like
You always wanted your own
next week.
It's the traffic cone. The guy that stuck the traffic cone into his saxophone. It's nice. 'Cause he actually did Seven Nation Army by White Stripes as a remix with the saxophone. I'll send it to you too, or get it from somebody. Because I don't think I have you on my Facebook, Mike.
Don't know. Are you in?
But,
You're in the group, right?
I'm in Stupid O'Clock and Hallowcon, yeah.
Yeah, let me-
But anyway,
Oh,
throw the night.
Take care, lovelies.
Good night, everyone.
Oh,
Adios.
sorry.
Good night, y'all.
Camera's over here this time. Take a look.
talk to
Too
Richie
many-
if you need really pretty chainmail.
Too many cameras. I've got another one here that is going to be a security camera.
I only
I'm
like
going to tell you how many I have on my house.
All
Well,
right.
say goodnight, Gracie, and push the red button.
Oh Lord, I'm tempted to push the red button before I hit the damn outro.
Talk to you soon.
Hakuna Matatas.
Oh,
What are you doing in my tatas?
I'll be dreaming. I thought,
Like
okay.
tatas.
Transmission overload. System will shut down. system will shut down.
Hello, I'm Dan Hollifield. I'm the senior editor and publisher of Aphelion Webzine, the world's oldest free creative writing e-zine since 1997. Since then, we have helped over 500 amateur writers learn what they needed to turn pro. www.aphelion-webzine.com and read not only what we've got going on right now, but 28 years worth of our archives of stories. Thank you very much.